What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Bobby, coming at you with another video today. And you may notice that I actually have somebody else in the video with me. This is going to be my man Cray right here. Student, activist, boyfriend, son, just really all around busy guy. But on top of that, he's also a creative. And so the point of this video today is actually going to be, how does he find a way to balance everything, stay happy, stay inspired, and stay creative while balance everything. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Jerry, real quick for me?
Yeah, I'm Jerry at jerry.cray on social media. I am a Dallas photographer, born and raised. I focus more so on telling narratives and stories, essentially of stories like that aren't usually told. So people who are marginalized, people who are basically left in the dark about anything that could be happening in society, or just more so a close out to it, a close out from it, just allowing people to share their narratives and allow other people to learn from those narratives.
Thanks, man. So this is actually, funny enough, my first time ever meeting Jerry fully in person. I actually met him one time through his girlfriend Cray at my job at Starbucks. And I saw him at a glance, and he seemed like a really chill person, dope person. We just never got the chance to meet up and talk. But today, actually, is the first day we've met, hung out, and just talked, and just I've come to realize that he's actually a really inspiring and creative person, just as a photographer. And he's making his way into wanting to do some videos here and there now, because actually, some time ago, he used to do vlogs here and there. Why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about that real quick for me?
Well, yeah, I started a blog actually in 2015 around government and elections and politics of that nature. Essentially, I wanted to educate people on the chain of command from the school board all the way up to the president, and basically give people a better idea of how government works, how citizens can participate in that, and what our responsibility is in it, because we don't really normally see a lot of that on television. They'll talk about the presidential elections, maybe state senator, or not state senator, but U.S. senator stuff. But you don't get a lot of the local stuff unless it's big like mayor. And you know, I saw that there was basically a hole that needed to be filled there, as far as letting people know that, hey, the other stuff is going on that actually impacts you on a more immediate level. The president can only do so much, and his job is to focus on the entire country. But your mayor, your city council people, these are people who govern your literal exact district. So the streets, the pothole in your streets up the road, that's not the president, that's your city councilman who handles that, or your alderman, depending on what state you're in. But yeah, so it got to the point to where it's like, okay, I need photos to go with this to make the blog more interesting. Otherwise, people are going to sit there and read a bunch of text about government.
And that's actually how we ended up making it a segue into photography.
Yeah,
which was funny enough. And I remember having the conversation where you started off on the T3i, right?
Yep.
And it's funny because I started off at the T6i, which is what we're filming on right now. But I've seen the work the T3i can do. But it's funny how people sometimes need a visual as opposed to just auditory or photography, or video, or things like that. They need to be able to see what is going on, what is impacting them. And so I definitely can agree why one would, definitely want to get more than just words onto a page, so people can understand it fully what's going on. And is that how you made your way into Instagram mostly, to become that narrative Instagram that kind of just tells those stories, actually?
Yeah, through photography?
Yeah, mostly.
Yes, yeah, photography definitely made me more active on Instagram. Before then, you probably get one photo out of me once every 6 months, if not once a year. I was that guy who had the same default forever, or my last post was 2016 or something. It's just that used to be me. But once I got that camera in my hand, that T3i, I felt empowered, I felt capable, I felt enabled to finally be able to tell stories in the way that I wanted to tell them, and tell the stories that I wanted to tell. And honestly, had I not, am I good in frame?
Yeah, you're still good. Well, dope. And it's actually funny that you mentioned once you picked up that camera, you became kind of empowered and enabled to do more and feel inspired to do more. Because actually, the reason I picked up my camera, I was going actually through a humongous depression, and when I saw the camera, something just said pick it up and do what you need to do. And so, also, sorry guys, we're at a train station filming this video, so in case you hear any background noise with trains and whatnot, that's just basically what you're hearing. But I felt the same way where once I picked up that camera, I was like, there's so much I can do with this. And originally, I wanted to be an Instagram that focuses around people with mental health issues, originally. So a lot of my pictures were either oversaturated or completely black and white, undersaturated. And the more I delved into it, the more I was just like, well, instead of making this something like a call to action against mental health, why not be something that can inspire people to fight past that mental health issue or mental disorder that sometimes overtakes them? And you win some, you lose some, and I say that not in a very nonchalant way, because people have been lost to mental health or mental disorders, but I wanted my Instagram to serve as a means for people to be inspired that no matter where you start, no matter where you are, you can just do it. And that's the main thing, is that you just start. And I feel like it was the same thing for you the moment you picked up that camera, which is, he's not holding T3i right now. I'm low-key kind of jealous at the moment. But he's actually holding on to the Canon EOS R, which is something I've been seeing all over YouTube, all over the interwebs and everywhere. And it's something that at some point I probably will want to pick up, but it's a really beautiful camera, one. But all in all, being a boyfriend, son, uncle, photographer, student, activist, how do you find the time to balance everything and still be creative and be inspired?
Yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. A lot of it is just a matter of getting out there and just doing it, starting it. I feel like kind of what we were talking about earlier, a lot of the overwhelmingness, a lot of the fear is more so in our head before we even get out and start doing all this stuff, to where we feel overwhelmed, before we feel stressed. It's just more so we're going through the process in our head. So just getting out there, starting it, and realizing, okay, this is how long it should usually take me. I can do this on a daily, and then maybe this thing that takes a little bit longer I need to allocate to the weekend. So it's just about managing and allocating activities to like designate them to different times where it'll make the most sense to do them. You can't do everything every day, or at least in my experience I haven't been able to. Sometimes it could be a matter of you have to narrow down your interests and get rid of some stuff that doesn't help you move forward. But at the end of the day, it's about what you're most passionate about, what's most important to you, and you got to pursue that. You got to make time for it. Honestly, and with me, it's just been a matter of whenever I can do it, I do it. And then over time, I look back and I can see, okay, look what I've done. This is what I've built up. This is what I've been able to do over time. Not everything has to be like this grand gesture from the beginning. Just start and let the ball roll. Let it collect on its way down the hill.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, yeah, those are truly actually inspiring words where, the whole point of this video, honestly, the takeaway I want you guys to have is that you just have to start. You just need to get up, and sometimes it's just a matter of going. You don't always know where you're gonna go. You don't know where you're always gonna end up. But the main important thing is that you at least start the journey towards what you want to be doing in life. Thank you, Jerry, for doing this video with me. I'm gonna drop his social media links in the description below. Once again, sorry for the trains, but all in all, thanks for everything, man. And it's truly been an inspiration, and it's really great to have finally met you and gotten to sit down